What is Donald Trump saying about the people who have planned the Justice for J6 rally? It's kind of changed over the last 72 hours, but here's the messaging that Donald Trump has given to the group that by the organizers has been told not to wear any Donald Trump gear. He says, people are so disgusted with the way people are being treated from the January 6th situation. This is my impression of John doing an impression of Trump. It's a combination of that compared with how Antifa and BLM were treated. When you compare that treatment, it's just so unjust, it's so unfair, it's so disgraceful. On Saturday, though, he said that's a setup. If people don't show up, they'll say, oh, it's a lack of spirit. And if people do show up, they'll be harassed. I can appreciate why Republicans don't want anything to do with this. When asked about essentially why the people in power in the party apparatus are backing away from it, he's like, I appreciate why Republicans don't want anything to do with this, but there is a lot of angst in the Republican base that is saying something without saying anything. And then finally, our hearts and minds are with the people being persecuted so unfairly relating to the January 6th protest concerning the rigged presidential election. In addition to everything else, it has proven conclusively that we are a two-tiered system of justice. In the end, however, justice will prevail. So that is a bunch of statements. Jordan, what do you make of them?
Look, I don't know if I've ever agreed with something Trump said more than we have a two-tiered system of justice. We do, but it's not with the one he thinks it is. It's extremely rich to see that. This is such like a wordsmith, like PR'd statement that he most assuredly did not write himself. It's a lot of saying something without saying anything. It's a lot of equivocating. But yeah, he's kind of winking and nodding at these people to keep them going while trying to condemn them, so he's not as like on the hook for anything they do. It's a total politician statement. He's evolved in that regard. Maybe not having a Twitter account has helped him be more contemplative with his thoughts. Maybe it's having an on-hand comms person, who knows? But that is a funny statement to hear from a guy who pretty directly encouraged it, including speaking at the January 6th event and saying, we're gonna head up to the Capitol.
It's just like you can also tell like in what platform or interview style he's actually answering questions. Like that last one, our hearts and minds with the people persecuted. Dude, you are submitting written responses. The other one, you're on the phone. It's like, I can appreciate it, but there's a lot of angst out there. The other ones where he's like, people are so disgusted with the way people are being treated. It's just like, he says treated 8 times. Those are the audio interviews. And the ones where it's like compound, complex sentences. It's like somebody still in his orbit is tasked with listening to Trump and translating it into something that the Federalist would like to eventually like upload on their website. It's so crazy. But yeah, Trump is going to do what Trump has always done, which is not actually be the leader of this movement, but the guy who develops like an hour-long set of talking points based on what this movement cheers loudest about. Done, finished. That's what he's doing. But the weird tap dancing that he's doing around all the actual real interesting issues is just absolutely entertaining at this point when they can't see him on Twitter and are they actually reading articles like this and getting this information? Like who's disseminating that to the Trump base? I don't know if enough of them are on all these platforms. They're taking the distilled version through Fox, who itself is currently, as we'll discuss later with Mike Lindell, trying to distance themselves from the real icky versions of this. And so it's relegated to the OANNs and Newsmax, which who knows who even has those in their cable package anymore.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.